The 2025 GMC Terrain. We have some new updates to talk about here, so let's get started with the highlights first. The 2025 Terrain brings more space, more safety features, and more tech, according to GMC. This vehicle has a truck-inspired design, which that is true, but to be fair, this doesn't look all that different from the 2024 Terrain, and I'll talk more about the looks in a little bit. But for 2025, the Terrain is going to get its first two-tone roof option in black or gray, which if that's important to you, there you go. And this next generation 2025 Terrain is expected to launch in its elevation trim level later in 2024. And the AT4 off-road trim level and the luxury Denali trims, those are going to be 2026 model years, and they're going to arrive sometime in 2025. So for right now, we just have the elevation trim. Now let's get into these details here. So the new Terrain was recently unveiled. GMC claims that it's got a fresh new design that's supposed to elevate this gateway model. But the reality is it looks very similar to the 2024, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I genuinely don't mind the way this vehicle looks. This is technically supposed to compete with Mazda CX-5s, Honda CR-Vs, RAV4s, etc. And as we all know, those types of products, they are all very much generic economy appliances. Whereas this GMC, it's got more of a diplomatic, serious nature about it. Like you pull up in this, it doesn't really feel like you pulled up in an economy vehicle. So I get why some people are interested in this. They have not unveiled the official pricing yet, but some sources are claiming that this is going to start at around $31,000. Again, for something that doesn't look like an econo budget box, that's not a bad price, and that's why so many people are into this. I've personally never cared for it, but then again, everyone has their own different priorities. I did see a rather successful real estate agent driving around in one of these. Again, they didn't have to blow a whole lot of money, and they look official when they pull up, because there's just something about, driving around in an American branded car, I guess. So there you go. But GMC claims that every Terrain comes standard with more than 15 safety and driver assistance features. And new for 2025, the suite of standard safety and driver assistance features includes enhanced automatic emergency braking, front pedestrian and bicyclist braking, intersection automatic emergency braking, rear cross traffic braking, reverse auto braking, side bicyclist alert, and blind zone steering assist. And apparently, heated front seats and a heated steering wheel also come as standard with the new Terrain, and that's great to see. And that's what I'm saying, for around 30 grand or so starting price, you got a decent looking ride with some good features, all as standard. Now regarding the tech, we get a 15-inch infotainment screen as standard, along with an 11-inch digital gauge cluster. On that 15-inch infotainment screen, up to 3 applications can be viewed simultaneously. Those are some pretty big screens, no doubt about it. And you also have a Google Assistant built in, which you can use to reply to text messages or get directions through your Google Maps. And you can also utilize third-party apps in this infotainment screen like Spotify if you so choose. New for 2025 are up to 8 available camera views, including an optional rear camera mirror. I know a lot of people appreciate that feature, to be able to flip a switch and to utilize the rear view mirror as a camera in case you have the vehicle full of items. But additional available technologies include 5G Wi-Fi hotspot, a high-definition 360 cam, rain sensing wipers, heated wiper park, and auto sense power liftgate. And you also have available wireless chargers, which will be located conveniently near the armrest. Once again, only the elevation trim is being unveiled right now, and it's going to come standard with these 17-inch wheels. The off-road oriented AT4 and the luxury Denali trims, they will be launched sometime in 2025 as a 2026 model year vehicle. The Denali is going to come with front and rear heated seats, along with headlamps and tail lamps, which will have an animation to it, along with 19-inch wheels, but you can also get 20s as an option with the Denali, which is way too big for a vehicle like this. But anyway, you will also get unique smart frequency dampers for an improved ride with that Denali, along with all-wheel drive and hill descent control. With the off-road oriented AT4, you will get a lifted ride height, you will get some metal underbody protection, 17-inch wheels with all-terrain tires, red front recovery hooks, and similar to the Denali, you are also going to get the animated headlamps and tail lamps and the all-wheel drive with the hill descent control. Now, all of these terrains are going to come standard with that little 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine producing 175 horsepower and 184 pounds-feet of torque when you go with the front-wheel drive, or you will be getting 203 pounds-feet of torque when you get the all-wheel drive. Pretty pathetic numbers, but then again, being turbo, you're going to get most of that torque down low, and these vehicles will utilize an 8-speed automatic transmission when you go with the all-wheel drive. But if you get a front-wheel drive terrain, you actually get a CVT transmission. So I'm sure most people are going to want to get that all-wheel drive terrain if they are truly interested in this. And these vehicles can tow up to 1,500 pounds. And that's everything you need to know regarding the 2025 GMC Terrain. Once again, this elevation trim level, it should be arriving later in 2024. Prices are most likely going to start at around 31 grand. The outgoing 2024 starts at about 30 grand and it tops out at around 40 grand for the Denalis. And you can use websites like JD Power to see the invoice price. Shockingly, for a 2024 GMC Terrain, there's not much meat on the bone from invoice to MSRP. It's about $1,400 to $1,500 depending on which trim level you go with. And honestly, if I were to buy one of these Terrains, I would want to get at least 10% off the MSRP, which means on a base model Terrain that costs about 30 grand, you get 10% off. That's 3 grand off. So a dealership would be taking approximately a $1,500 hit to sell you that vehicle. And in the description box below, I'm also going to share with you a free leasing calculator provided to you by AutoCompanion. This is a very powerful tool because it shows you the interest rate of a lease, the residual values, and most importantly, the incentives that you can get in your local zip code. So whether you are financing, paying cash, or leasing, you should use this calculator to see those incentives because there's so many with these domestic brands like Chevrolet, GMC, Ford, CDJR. There's a ton of incentives, and if you don't know about them, you're literally just leaving money on the table. And this is important because incentives stack on top of the dealer discount. So let's say you do get 10% off MSRP and you qualify for some incentives like Conquest or Loyalty. Well, if you got 3 grand off from the dealership and you also got $1,000 in incentives, well, actually that stacks on top of the 3 grand off. So you're really getting 4 grand off the MSRP. And that's why it's so important to know about these incentives. In the lease deal, it's not that great for a base model Terrain. Assuming you have perfect credit and you put no money down on the lease for 3 years, these things go for about $400 a month. And that's primarily because the interest rate is about 4.8, 4.9%. But lease programs, incentives, interest rates, all of these things, they do change every month, and AutoCompanion's calculator will also update every month. So no matter what vehicle you're interested in, use this calculator to run some numbers and to stay updated with the latest programs and incentives. But AutoCompanion doesn't just offer this calculator. He's also one of the largest car brokers in the United States, and he represents many different economy and luxury branded vehicles. He's primarily out in the Washington, D.C. area, but he is able to ship nationwide, but shipping is something you have to pay extra for. But he's got BMW deals, Mercedes, Audi, Volvo, Mazda, Subaru, Volkswagen, Lexus, etc. If you just want a compact luxury SUV, I mean BMW X1s, he's got 10% off MSRP, Mercedes GLB 11% off, Audi Q3 12% off the MSRP, Lexus NX 10% off on a base NX 350, and about 8% off the UX 250H. On the little Volvo XC40, he's got 10.5% off the MSRP. So there you go. If you want some competing products at a great discount and deal, you can reach out to AutoCompanion. He does charge a broker fee to access these deals, but if you sign up with my affiliate link in the description box below, he will take some money off of his broker fee. So hopefully you appreciate this knowledge, this information, and these resources. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you again for watching. Take care and goodbye.